with the Dietitian. I'm your host Amanda, and today we're going to be preparing spiced pear and currant overnight oatmeal. It's such a busy time of the year with the holidays going on, so I'm here to remind you that it's so important to take time to eat breakfast every day, and I hope that you'll really love this recipe because it is minimal dishes. It is super quick and easy. It actually does not require any cooking whatsoever. And the most important thing is it's delicious and also nutritious. So let's get started. First of all, you'll want to gather your ingredients. Today we'll be preparing enough overnight oatmeal for a family of 4, but you can certainly cut back or multiply the recipe depending on how many people you're preparing oatmeal for. Now, if it's just for you and you're wanting to prepare enough oatmeal for a few days, this is perfect because you'll have enough oatmeal for 4 days. You'll need 2 cups of the oats of your choice. I have gluten-free oats here because I have to eat gluten-free. And if you're like me, you might be wondering, well, why can't I just have any kind of oats? Oats do not naturally contain gluten. However, they are often processed in factories where other gluten-containing ingredients are processed, such as flour. So you might want to go with the gluten-free oats if you're especially sensitive to gluten. Then you'll need 4 cups of the milk of your choice. I have an unsweetened almond milk here, just keeping in mind those of you that might have diabetes and that are trying to cut back on carbohydrate. Actually, my husband had pre-diabetes and I helped him reverse it, so we always try to be conservative on the amount of carbohydrate that we take in for that reason, just to keep his blood sugars under well control and in the normal range. You'll also need 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. It just adds that touch of sweetness that makes it so enjoyable without going overboard. You'll need 1 cinnamon stick, and then you'll need ground cinnamon as a garnish. You'll also need some raw sliced almonds. Now, if you don't have almonds, you can use walnuts, you can use pecans, you can even use peanut butter, honestly. And we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of the almonds or the nut of your choice for each serving of oatmeal. Then I have selected here some currants. If you don't have currants at home, that's all right. You can get golden raisins or the regular dark purple raisins. Use whatever you like. The reason that I really like to choose either the currants or the raisins is these are 2 of the dried fruits that do not have any added sugar. Most every other dried fruit that I have found on the market has some kind of added sugar. Fruit is already naturally sweet, so I figure why add more sugar, especially keeping in mind making this dish carbohydrate controlled for those with diabetes or those with pre-diabetes that are trying to reverse it, or those who have not been diagnosed with either pre-diabetes or diabetes but perhaps have family history and are wanting to prevent that process. So you'll need 2 tablespoons of currants for each serving of overnight oatmeal. And then one of the ways to keep this recipe super simple is to use canned pears. So I chose a can of pears that is packed in 100% juice, and I got 2 halves of the pear, and we're going to just chop this up and use this as a topping for each serving of the overnight oats. Now, of course, you'll need a bowl with a cover so that you can prepare the overnight oats and pop them in the refrigerator so that they'll be ready for the week. Now we're going to prepare the overnight oatmeal. We'll take 2 cups of the oats of your choice, and then we'll add 4 cups of the milk of your choice. Then we'll add the 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 stick of cinnamon, and we'll stir it all together. Wasn't that super simple? So now we're ready to go ahead and cover our overnight oatmeal and place it in the fridge. So this is a batch of overnight oats that I made yesterday, and it's had about 12 hours to soak, maybe a little bit more, and you can see how nice and thick that it's getting. And honestly, every day that it sits in the fridge, it will become thicker and thicker. If you prefer yours a little bit more watery, you can always add additional milk. Rather than having cold overnight oatmeal, if you like for it to be heated, you can pop it in the microwave. It's completely up to you. Let's go ahead and serve a 1 cup portion so you can see what that looks like. So here's your 1 cup serving. Isn't that great? It's such a generous portion. And remember, we're not finished because we're going to top it with our spiced pear and currant topping. So let's do that. What you'll do is you'll take that whole canned pear and just dice it. If you would like to use a fresh pear, you definitely can. Now remember, I said that this method does not require any cooking whatsoever. You can get your kids in the kitchen to help you with dicing the pear because it is so soft, and that's a great way to get them involved and to get them excited about having this overnight oatmeal. I know a lot of kids are not thrilled seeing the oatmeal because it may have that mushy appearance, but I think that if you involve them, they'll be a lot more likely to want to try it and excited about eating it. So I'm going to top our oatmeal here with the diced pear. And then I'm going to add a garnish of some cinnamon. Doesn't that look beautiful already? And we still have 2 tablespoons of currants to add. And 2 tablespoons of raw almonds or the nut of your choice. Look at how gorgeous that is. It's packed with nutrition and layers of flavor. I can't wait to dig into this delicious breakfast, and I hope you'll join me by preparing it at home. Remember, whenever you eat breakfast, you always want to include at least 2 food groups to really give yourself the most nutrition possible. More is always better, but at minimum include 2 food groups. This spiced pear and currant overnight oatmeal actually has 4 food groups. It contains the oats, which are the starch. It contains milk, which is part of the milk and yogurt group. It contains fruit from the pear and the dried currants, and it contains heart-healthy fat from the almonds. Now, if you want to learn more about the food groups, please check out my video, What Do I Eat? And I go into detail about the foods that fall under each heading. Now I've got to taste this. The creaminess of the oatmeal, that natural sweetness that the cinnamon imparts, along with that minimal amount of sugar that we added, the natural sweetness from the pear and the currants, and that crunchiness from the sliced raw almonds is just delicious. You all have to try this because not only is it so good, but it is also nutritious and will give your body a wide variety of nutrients to keep you happy and healthy this holiday season. If you're on a weight loss journey, I want to encourage you by letting you know that each serving of this spiced pear and currant overnight oatmeal has about 470 calories, which is great. And it also contains 10 grams of dietary fiber, which, remember, that fills you up and it just strengthens your resolve and willpower to really say no to all of those treats that start to appear on the table. It's amazing how when you feed your body what it needs, the cravings for all those foods that are really empty calories and contain very little nutrition, like a lot of the sweets, all of that just sort of fades away because you're giving your body what it needs and it responds so well to that, and all of a sudden the desire for all those other things disappears. Now, of course, the occasional treat is fine, but always strive to give your body what it needs first before indulging in those special treats. This breakfast is also very heart healthy because of those 10 grams of fiber that have cholesterol lowering power. Another thing I love about this breakfast is for those of us that are just strapped for time, especially all the mamas out there with little ones, or the pregnant mamas who may be in the first trimester and whose energy may be running super low, or for the breastfeeding mamas that hardly have any free time to themselves, this is such a quick and easy dish that is packed with nutrition that you can just have on hand. It's ready to go, requires such little time that you will get to have those precious 5 or 10 minutes to just eat your breakfast and give your body what it needs rather than skipping the meal. And for those of you with diabetes that are really looking to control the amount of carbs that you're taking in to meet your blood glucose goals, I will tell you that you might want to modify the portion because this one serving does contain 70 grams of carbohydrate. So if you're already waking up with fasting blood sugars that are above target, this may not be the best breakfast for you to eat at this time. Now, on the other hand, if your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are very well controlled, you may be able to afford this, in particular if you're exercising and needing that extra carbohydrate to fuel your muscles. But if you don't have too much activity in your day and you do have diabetes, and your glucose levels in the morning are pretty well controlled, you might want to consider perhaps having half of this serving so that you take in a more modest amount of carbohydrate, or around 35 grams of carbs if you go with the half serving. That's it for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you learned. Subscribe to my channel for updates on all the latest videos, and make sure to select all on the notifications so that you don't miss a single one. And I'll see you next time right here in the kitchen with the dietitian.